He was 14 years old. It was September of 2021, and he went to spend the night at a friend's house. Late at night, they got on the dad's UTV. His friend wrecked it. Within 60 seconds of walking in the door, I was told that my son was permanently paralyzed from the chest down, that he had basically a 0% chance of recovery, and that we were going to go from there to rehab to learn how to live the rest of his life in a wheelchair. I actually happen to be a physician, and you really don't learn very much about spinal cord injury patients in medical school, but I quickly became an expert in the matter for my son. When my husband and I went to the surgical ICU to wait for Davis to get through his 5-hour surgery, one of my dear childhood friends, who also happens to be a physician, she and her husband came and sat with us through that surgery, and she and I immediately started researching spinal cord injury research trials and spinal cord injury researchers in the United States and in the world. And the name that we kept coming across was Dr. Susan Harkema. We were really hopeful about the research that she was doing here in Louisville. So that was going to be a long 7 years waiting for him to turn 21 to be old enough to be in these research trials. But researching the University of Louisville website led me to Dr. Andrea Behrman, who is a pediatric physical therapist who researches spinal cord injury. And she really is the only place in the United States that's doing this kind of research. We are so grateful that Davis has been able to participate in this trial. He has already made so many gains. He is healthier for having been here. He is stronger for having been here. I think the healthcare system has been very slow to respond to the published data that these are therapies that work, they are cost effective. We need to speed this process up. This doesn't have to take as long as it's taking. These are therapies that should be widely available. Physicians are still being taught to this day that if you have a spinal cord injury, you will not recover, that you will not get better, and that is simply not true. They have shown here over and over again with published peer-reviewed studies that that is not true. These patients all get better in some way, in some ways very profound ways. We have to change the way of thinking. We have to offer therapy to patients with spinal cord injury. If you make someone's life 10% better or 20% better, you have done a huge thing. You know, we keep hearing, don't get your hopes up, everything's going to be 5 years down the road or 10 years down the road. And 10 years down the road to a 14-year-old is like a lifetime. You know, these are things that we should be offering immediately right now. I really believe that what they're doing here with the transcutaneous stimulation and of course the surgically implanted stimulators are going to be routine therapy for anyone who suffers a spinal cord injury.